the next point. We should ensure whatever we see is clear.
That means work is being done. We can see that it is in opposite direction.
Good day, learners. My name is Nuhu Bako Fus. You are welcome to government class. And today's topic, we shall be discussing on the topic, centralization. Centralization. Definition. Centralization can be defined as the process by which political powers are located in a single central decision-making body. Centralization is achieved where all powers of government are vested in the central authority. Now, centralization is a system of government where powers are vested at the center. Powers are vested in the center, that is, in the hands of few individuals at the top or at the federal level. In centralization system of government, powers are not shared as it is in decentralization or in federal system of government, but powers are concentrated. Powers are centered at the center. They are at the top, that is, at the federal government level. That is what centralization is all about. Now, the degree of centralization is highest in a unitary state. For example, Britain, France, and Italy. These are the three countries that practice centralization system of government. And a unitary system of government is a system of government that let Egui Ironsin introduce, that led to the counter-coup in Nigeria of 1966. This system of administration, powers are centered at the center in the hands of few individuals at the top. And that was why when Egui Ironsin introduced the unitary system of government in Nigeria, his numbers in office were shortened. Why? Because the system of administration is not welcome or is not universally accepted. And that was why, the military countered his coup in 1966. Now, reasons for the adoption of centralization. Number one, best practice in a homogeneous state. Best practice in a homogeneous state. The system is best practice where there are no sharp differences in religious, languages, or beliefs. That is, homogeneous means a small state with citizens or people that there is no sharp difference. That is, majority of the citizens speak almost the same dialect or language. And their religion, they don't have multi-religion, or they don't have different types of religion. Their custom, their belief are almost the same, or is almost the same. So we say homogeneous state. So centralization is best practice in a state or in a country where there is slight difference or no difference in religion, languages, and beliefs. So that can be best practice in such a state or country. Number two, small country. Small country. It is easy to practice in a relatively small country where the government has representatives from every ethnic group in the society. Now, centralization system of administration is best practice in a small country where all regions, all ethnic groups, almost every part of the country have their representative or has its representative at the top, either at the National House of Assembly or in the House of Reps or senators. They must have their representatives at all levels, or in the two, either bicameral system of administration is in the two chambers, either the upper or the lower chambers. So it must be, all regions must be represented at any level and in all ethnic groups in the society. So centralization is best practice in a small country where all ethnic groups are well represented. Number 3, delegation of functions. Delegation of functions. The central government can delegate powers and functions to other component units. The central government can delegate powers and functions to other component units. Now, in centralization system of administration, government can delegate powers. Powers are not shared in a centralized system of government, but they only delegate powers. They delegate authorities to act or to function, but powers are not shared in a centralized system of government, but rather they delegate powers, and that one can act or that one can do better, but they don't share powers to subordinate unit or to component unit, but they only delegate powers. Number 4, power concentration. Power concentration. All the powers and authorities of the state are concentrated in the hands of the central government. In a centralized system of administration, powers of the administration is well concentrated at the state, at the center, in the hands of the central government. That is, for example, in Nigeria, we have the federal, we have the state, and we have the local government. In a unitary system of administration, powers are only concentrated at the federal level. Powers are only concentrated at the federal level. The state and the local government have no power to function administratively, but the powers are concentrated there at the top. So at the federal level, they have the right, the power, and the full legal right to govern, but powers are not shared to other subordinate units, as mentioned in the previous point. Now, number 5, flexibility. Flexibility. The constitution of centralized state is flexible. Constitution of a centralized state is flexible. What does that mean? In a centralized system of administration, the constitution is flexible. That is, it can be amended at any time to suit the interests of the people in government, to suit the interests of the leaders. So at any time, the constitution can be amended. A section in the constitution can be raised completely. And at any time, anything can be added. So the constitution is flexible. It's not rigid, it's not written, it's not rigid. Even if it is written, but it's not rigid, the constitution is flexible. So it can be amended at any time, and it can be amended easily, not as the rigid or written constitution. Number 6, power to modify the constitution. Power to modify the constitution. The central government may have the power to modify the constitution in the same process used to pass law. For example, Britain. Now, the central government at any time can modify its constitution. As mentioned earlier, at any time they can modify the constitution, at any time they can change. If the need arises for any amendment, they will just put their head together and amend their constitution without, having a second thought. And a clear example of the country that does that is Britain. Britain does that. At any time, Britain can amend her constitution at any time. And remember, in Britain or England, it is a queen that is ruling. And in other words, we said it's a monarch system of administration. So a monarch system of administration where a king or a queen rule, they have that power. So at any time, constitution can be amended because it is a flexible constitution that is being used in a centralized system of administration. Now, number 7, no constitutional division of power. No constitutional division of power. There is no constitutional division of power between the central government and other component units. There is no constitutional division of power between the central government and other component unit. So in a centralized system of administration, there is no constitutional division of power. Power is concentrated at the top. Power is concentrated in the hands of few individuals. So there is no division of power between the central and any component units of the government. Why? Because the administration, constitutionally, the system gives only power to the central body or to the central authority. So there is no constitutional division of power in centralized system of administration. Number 8, strong central government. Strong central government. This is because it has all the powers of the state and the people give support to it only. This is because it has all the powers of the state and the people give support to it only. Now, in a centralized system of administration, there is a strong centralized government. And that happened because powers of the state are being created and enshrined or enveloped in the Constitution. And being the fact that that is how it is, people give their support. They have no option, they have no objection. So people support it and there is no any other way out, or there is nothing that can be done. So there is a strong central government in a centralized system of administration. As mentioned earlier, the authority or the powers are concentrated at the top, and it is the head, that is the head of state and his cabinet members that sit and deliberate and take whatever decision they want to take, because powers are not shared or authorities are not shared. It's not like a decentralized system of administration. This is a centralized system of administration. So indigene have no option than to support. Number 9, no conflict of authority. No conflict of authority. Since all the power are in the hands of the central government. No conflict of authority, since all power are in the hands of the central government. So there is no conflict whatsoever. There is no conflict, since the power is concentrated in the hands of the government. No conflict, because the leaders, few individuals that are governing, few individuals that are ruling, powers is concentrated in their hands, and everybody is aware. So there is no cause for conflict in whichever way, because constitutionally, that is how centralized system of administration is. So there is no conflict either between the state, the local government, or the executive, the legislature, or the judiciary. There is no conflict whatsoever, because it is a centralized system of administration, and they are all aware, because that is the system of administration chosen or being practiced in that country. Now, advantages of centralization. Advantages of centralization. Students or learners, take note. It can be written, or in some textbook you will see merits. So advantages or merits, they are two different words with the same meaning. So it can be merits of centralization or advantages of centralization. Whichever word you see, either merit or advantages, is all the same thing. Now, number 1, decision making. Decision-making power. Decision-making power. Sometimes there may be the use to withdraw decision-making power from subordinate unit to make for a more coherent and efficient administration. So at any time, they may withdraw the decision-making power from any subordinate unit or from any constitutional authority body in order to have a coherent and efficient administration. So far they are in control, so they have the right at any time to withdraw. They have that power to withdraw. They have the power, to advise. That power, again, to impose or to ask or to instruct or to give directives or to delegate at any time. That is number one advantage of centralization. Number two, costs. The cost of running a centralized administration is relatively low than decentralization of administration. Why? Because it is only few individuals that are ruling. Few individual rule or few individual constituted the cabinet or the council of the constituted the members of the head of state, the council members of the head of state. So there is less costs, no duplication of offices. So it is less expensive, in terms of control, expenses or expenditure or whatever. So the cost of running centralization system administration is relatively very low, unlike decentralization system of administration. Number three, it makes for quick action. It makes for quick action. Quick action is made in the areas of decision making and implementation. The central government alone makes decision. So in a centralized system of administration, we have few individuals rule. To take decision is not that difficult. Few individuals are there. Within the shortest possible time, they can converge, they can meet and take decision without delay. Unlike decentralized system of administration, whereby powers are shared to all subordinate units of government, or whereby powers are shared to constituent unit of government before they could sit and deliberate, and from the state to the from federal to state, state to local government, or from the executive to the judiciary, from executive to the legislature, from legislature to the judiciary, it will take time. But under centralization, there are few. So to take decision is never at all a problem. Within the shortest possible time, decision is taken and implementation is done. Number four, flexible constitution. Flexible constitution. The method of amending the constitution is relatively easy because the constitution is flexible. The constitution is flexible. So the method of amendment or amending constitution in a centralization system of administration is very easy because constitutionally, constitution can be amended, and because already that country is using a flexible constitution. So at any time, a flexible constitution can be amended. Number five, less bureaucratic. Less bureaucratic. Centralization is less bureaucratic and simple to operate. Now, it's less bureaucratic. Bureaucratic is all the long processes, the due process, channels. For example, from the permanent secretary, commissioner, director, deputy director, before your file or before any minutes could be passed or anything that has been agreed, before it will come from the top to the bottom, it takes time. So we call that bureaucracy. So there is less bureaucratic problem or issues in a centralization system of administration. So it is very easy to run, and within the shortest possible time, decision can be taken, and at the same time, it can be implemented because no bureaucracy in the system of administration. And it's very simple to operate because many people are not involved in governance. Only few individuals are involved in the administration. Number 6, unity. Unity. A centralized government unites different groups of diverse opinion and interests in the society. A centralized government unites different groups and diverse opinion and interests in the society. So they unite people easily. There is unity because it is a small state, number one, and it's a state, it's an homogeneous state. The people or the citizens in that country are not many. Their religion, almost all the people, belong to one religion. Their belief, their custom and tradition is the same. So it's very, very easy to, govern. Next is disadvantages. Number 1, rigidity and flexibility response. Rigidity and flexibility response. It may lead to rigidity and inflexible response to local needs and problems. Now, so far few individual rule, there is this tendency of rigidity, that is strictness. What the indigent may want, they may not get it. Why? Because it is only few individuals that are governing, and powers are not shared to the subordinate unit of the government. So there is rigidity and inflexibility. That is, the administration is not flexible, the administration is rigid, so there is strictness. And as I said, mostly this system of administration is found or is being practiced in a country where a king or a queen is ruling, or where a military system of administration is being, in use. Number 2, stagnation. Stagnation. Centralized government may also make for stagnation at the local level because the center cannot quickly respond to the problems. So there is stagnation in centralized system of administration because the local level, there is a gap, there is a distance between the state or between the central and the local level. So to take a quick decision or quick response at the local level takes time. So people at the local level or people at the grassroots suffer a lot because the system of administration is centralized in the hands of few individuals and is there at the top. It's not decentralized. As I said, there is no state, no local government. Even if there is, powers are concentrated and they are centralized at the top. So they find it very difficult to reach the people as a grassroots. So people at the grassroots always suffer. Number 3, disadvantage is dictatorship. Centralization may encourage dictatorship in the system because power is centralized constitutionally in the hands of few individuals. So the leader may decide to use his veto power or over-exercise his power. So it may lead to dictatorship. So far, as mentioned earlier, it is a monarch system of government or it is a military system of administration. So the person, the head of state or the leader may decide to be too hard. He may decide to dictate whatever the citizen wants, they may not get from the leader because power are concentrated there at the central level. Number 4, small territories. It is only workable in small territories. This system may not work in countries like Nigeria and USA. So centralization system administration can only work in a small territory, that is in a small country. It cannot work in a heterogeneous society. It doesn't work in heterogeneous society. That is a big country, people with diverse religion, diverse belief, people with different culture, and many people, it doesn't work. But rather it works in homogeneous country or territories, not heterogeneous society. So in a country like Nigeria and USA, centralization system of administration cannot work. No wonder Egui Ironsi has said he tried it and there was a counter coup in July 1966. Number 5, interest group. It is not possible for centralization to accommodate every interest group in the society. It's not possible. because, there is a gap between the central and the local level, and the power vested in the hands of leaders in centralization of administration it is not possible, for everybody to be accommodated in the centralization system of administration. Now, we have come to the end of the lesson, but before I leave, I have an assignment for you. And the first question says, question 1A, what is centralization? What is centralization? And 1B, state 3 advantages and 3 disadvantages of centralization. I repeat, state 3 advantages and 3 disadvantages of centralization. In case you have any question, you can WhatsApp me through this number, 07035865451. 07035865451. Stay safe, keep learning. Thank you.